Integrated Development. I coordinated the Cameroon Human Rights Fellowship. And the Human Rights Fellowship is all about training people from different organizations so they could learn more about human rights and be able to pass out the message to people out there in various communities.
My name is Bu Joycelyn Issa, a fellow at the Cameroon Human Rights Fellowship, organized by the Community Center for Integrated Development.
Hello, I'm Winka Melanie Joseph, a Cameroon Human Rights Fellow at Community Center for Integrated Development. I am also the Community Engagement Officer at Community Center for Integrated Development.
My name is Tabot Ayok Solange. I'm a final year student at the University of Boya, studying sociology and anthropology, and I work for Vision in Action.
I'm called Sir Denise Bakob. I'm 20 years of age, a student at the State University of Boya. I'm a staff at Community Center for Integrated Development.
Now, getting participants for the Human Rights Fellowship, we did a call out where people applied and we selected about 10 people who became fellows for the Cameroon Human Rights Fellowship. In the course of the fellowship, we thought about human rights and other related concepts such as human rights and gender, human rights and health, human rights and discrimination, human rights and work, as well as human rights and democracy, not leaving out the legal instruments protecting human rights. These legal instruments could be seen from the national, regional, and international levels. At the national level, we have the Cameroon's Constitution and the Penal Code. At the regional level, we have the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, as well as the Maputo Protocol. At the international level, we have the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. These conventions and laws help us to know when or how to punish defaulters in case they go against or violate people's rights.
Recently, I've been a fellow at the Human Rights Fellowship, being organized by Community Center for Integrated Development. Well, first of all, being a student of international relations, I'm one who is passionate about knowing the human rights of people.
The Cameroon Human Rights Fellowship was a training based on human rights of individuals as members of a community. So there I was able to gain more insight into our basic human rights and our obligations as humans. And also we had talks and trainings on gender equality, gender issues, peace and conflicts, and all the things that we as human beings are supposed to know in order to better ourselves in our communities.
What I have learned at this fellowship is the 30 human rights that we possess as human beings, what human rights is all about, the necessary steps to take while addressing a human rights issue. And some of the few skills I've acquired is how to properly use the media to address human rights issues, how to write a project, and how to bring a team together, how to bring in other NGOs, and how I could probably get a funder to fund my project.
Being part of the Cameroon Human Rights Fellowship, I'm able to understand that non-discrimination and equality are the basic principles that applies to all human rights in all parts of the world. That means, as human beings, we should not be discriminated upon, and we should be treated fairly and also equally.
My human rights has to fight for myself and has to fight for people by me, because we are in a country where a lot of people don't know their rights. So it's been tampered with. So I learned a lot about my human rights.
Now I have learned about the basic the laws in Cameroon that protects our human rights as persons and as young people. Now I'm in a better place to implement strategies to be able to advocate better for human rights treatment in my local communities and even the world at large.
From the skills I've learned, I'm going to talk to those around me. I belong to so many groups, so I'll start by educating and sensitizing them on their basic human rights, because I've come to realize that so many people are ignorant about their rights and their obligations as humans and as citizens of the country. So I'll talk to them, talk to those around my communities, organize seminars, workshops, in order to also encourage them as much as I've learned. I'll also refer them to the program when next it is launched, so that they too can register and learn more from the program.
Okay, at the level of the community, I plan on carrying out educative talks and doing more sensitization on human rights, because it has come to my realization that a lot of people don't know their human rights, and I think that's why we are, most of the times we are being violated, and we cannot do anything about it because we feel it's okay. Now, coming to them, in conflict time like this in the Southwest, I would say it's very important for me to carry out this sensitization and most especially use the media correctly in addressing human rights issues.
First of all, I plan on organizing our trainings where you invite young people, then you talk to them about their sexual health and their human rights and how to protect themselves and fight for themselves. Then I plan to doing internet write-ups, like go to maybe Facebook, write an article. I think with that, a lot of people are going to get information.
Just to raise awareness about human rights and also to make people aware, because many people, they are not aware of their human rights. They are so ignorant about their human rights. So I'm going to start an online campaign to raise awareness, especially to young people, to know that they have rights and these rights need to be respected for them to grow.
Well, I've attended other trainings, but this one was peculiar in the sense that it dwelled more on human rights and our citizenship in the country, because since I am not inclined into law or I studied accountancy, so this brought me closer to my country, and it made me to know many things that I did not know about me being in the country and how I'm to handle situations that concern me as a human.
Just the fact that I could learn more about my human rights and learn how to fight for my human rights, I think that was the most important. I think that was the most juicy part of it.
Now, having trained fellows for this fellowship, we are hoping that they will go out to their various organizations and to their various communities and be able to pass out the message so we will achieve human rights in its entirety.